Okay. So hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cynthia Toolin-Wilson, and I am here with my friend, Laura Qirko, and her mother, Marietta. And we're going to talk about a book, Humanitarian Woman, that is very, very interesting. It's about an encounter with Mother Teresa. So how are you tonight?
I am very, very well, and I am very happy, Cynthia, to be here on this beautiful show, Author to Author, and especially on such a special and important day, which is March 8th, International Women's Day. Yes. And I want to take this opportunity to say Happy Women's Day to all the strong and resilient women in the world. Yes. Without women, our world would be completely different. I feel that women brighten up our world. They are the sun during a day, and without women, it wouldn't be the same. That's right. I agree. Yeah. Yes.
So would you like to open us with a prayer?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Dear Mother Teresa, I would like to thank you for giving us this opportunity tonight to be on the wonderful show, Author to Author, on this very special day, March 8th, International Women's Day. You are one of the most inspirational women in the world through your charity, generosity, and humanitarian acts. And I pray to you that all the wonderful women listening tonight will follow in your footsteps of making a difference in the world, just like my mother and I have. Amen.
Amen. So, all righty. So, your mother is with you, and
yes, I am very happy because my mother is with me, and I would like everyone to know that today in Albania, where I come from, is not only International Women's Day, but today is also Mother's Day.
Oh my!
So for me, it is very, very special, and I really feel honored to invite my wonderful mother, who is such a caring, such a gentle soul, and such a loving soul. And I cannot wait until the world meets her. So I would be really honored to introduce my mother, Marietta Qirko.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for being, and it's an honor to be in your program, Author to Author.
Oh, thank you.
Probably many people read in the book about the story of Mother Teresa, but I'm going to say it in a short way, but real way, how it happened. Mother Teresa was always a role model to me. And all the time I was thinking of Mother Teresa, but I never expected that one day I could meet her, talk to her, and be blessed by her. And it happened like this. I remember it was 23rd of September, 1991. It was my son's birthday. A friend of mine named Violeta came to the door and knocked at the door. And she told me that Sister Clarice, who was the superior of the missionaries of charity, wanted to meet me to give a very important mission. In 2 minutes, we were ready. I took my son, Rita, I took my daughter, Laura, and my friend, Violeta, and we went there. The doors were open, and I saw all the sisters from all over the world over there. And Sister Clarice brought me to the chapel, which was on the first floor. So we entered there, we sat down, and Sister Clarice said, Marietta, Mother Teresa wants you to prepare 2 groups. One group will be with the girls from the northern part of Albania. You have to teach them English through Albanian language. And the second group will be the group of sisters coming from 81 countries of the world, but you have to teach them Albanian through English. I know that it's very difficult, but it's very important. And she said, whatever you say to sign a contract, whatever you want, we are ready to do it. Then I stood up and I said, this is a blessing, I said, coming here and having the opportunity to teach the sisters of Mother Teresa. I don't want any money. I'm going to do it free for 3 years, 5 hours every day. And I'm going to follow Mother Teresa's footsteps. I want to do it for charity. You can't imagine, she came and she put her hands in my forehead and she said, God will bless you and he will bless you in the future too for what you are doing. So the next day I went there and I began with the groups. Really, it was very, very difficult. If you talk about the girls coming from the northern part of Albania, you can see that they didn't even speak Albanian in a grammatically, because their houses were 3 hours from their school and they were in the mountains full of snow. So I don't blame them. So I had to do 2 jobs at the same time, teaching them Albanian, teaching them English. And then I entered with the second group. They were a lot of sisters coming from 81 countries. You see, they were, when they saw that Albanian language was very difficult, I remember a French girl, she used to tell all the time, oh la 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 la, which means how difficult it is. And I said, don't worry, I'm going to help you. Little by little, you'll absorb the language and you'll do the mission that you have to do. So every day I used to take Laura, that was only 5 years old at the beginning when we were there. And I did the job perfectly for 3 years, never being tired. I used a lot of patience. I was very patient, because if you don't have patience, you cannot do this, because you have to teach them one by one. And sometimes when they were in the retreat, what I used to do is I took a notebook and I wrote everything for them. And I remember Sister Nirmala, one of the sisters, she came and she said, God sees you for everything. What you are doing an extra job too. And I said, I do it with pleasure when I think that you are going to help a lot of people. Now, it was the year 1994, April of 1994. Mother Teresa came to our country, Albania. So Sister Clarice called me and said, Marietta, Mother Teresa wants to reward you. So she will have a private meeting for 1 hour with you, and you have to take your family. The only thing that you cannot do is in private visits, pictures are not allowed, because all of them were bare feet. Mother Teresa was barefoot.
Sure.
Nevertheless, you see, that night, you can imagine yourself full of emotion, anxiety, you see, but so happy to meet this lady, that this is an exceptional case to be 1 hour with her and talk together. Like I am staying with Laura now, I stood with Mother Teresa. So we went there the next day at 10 o'clock and we climbed the steps and she was waiting for me on the top of the steps. So I met her, I embraced her and she kissed me. She was a very short woman and she was barefoot. And when she met me, the first thing that she told me said, excuse me, because I've forgotten the Albanian language. And I said, of course, Mother Teresa, this is very reasonable. You have been in India for 50 years. You never met any Albanian. Of course, you have to forget the language. But again, you are Albanian, I said. Yes, she said. And she smiled. After she met my family, we began the conversation together. But don't forget, this was a huge hall. And all around there were all the sisters, praying. And especially they were praying for me because they didn't know what question Mother Teresa was going to ask me. So I began the first. I broke the ice. And I said, Mother Teresa, last night I saw on TV a movie about you. And I am very, very happy that, first of all, you were a geography teacher. So in profession, we are the same because I'm an English teacher too. Secondly, I said, there were a lot of cases, but I'm mentioning only 3 of them. Secondly, I said, when that man was in the pavement and was dying, and the worms were biting the flesh, Mother Teresa sat down with him, caught his hand, and he said, "Why are you helping me? I'm dying." And she said, "Because I love you."
Yeah.
She loved the people unconditionally.
Yeah.
She was a woman of acts, not of words. Because you can say a lot of words, but if you don't act, if you don't have action, when you have actions that you understand. And she told me, "Now it's my turn to ask you." And I remember all the sisters who were looking at me because they were my students.
Right.
And she said, "All these sisters that are here spoke to me about you. You have come here together with your little daughter for 3 years, 5 hours every day, teaching and preparing both the groups. When I came here and I saw them communicating with the Albanian people, I was amazed. That's why I asked them, 'Who is your teacher?' And they said, 'Laura Qirko.' And she said, 'I have to meet this woman and bless this woman.' And she said, 'Why did you do that free of charge?' And I smiled and I said, 'Mother Teresa, it's very simple. I'm not doing more than following your example. You work for the poorest of the poor, doing it for charity. I am doing it for charity too.' And she came to me, she put her hands on my forehead, and she said, 'God will bless you so much now and in the future.'
Wow.
And then she caught my hands and she said, 'I'm going to give you the power of healing.'
Oh.
And she did. I've healed so many people in the world. In the world, wherever I have been, you see, I've healed so many people. Secondly, she said, 'I'm going to give a private prayer, which will be only for you. In any case, you can use this prayer yourself. You'll have everything from me,' she said, 'because you deserve a lot,' she said. And then she told me, 'I am going to give you another power. Just when you share things, you see, you have to make the others be helpful, show love, show everything that people need today.' And then I said, without knowing anything, it was April of 1994. And I said, 'Mother Teresa, who knows? Today I'm teaching the students in Albania. But God knows, probably one day I'll go to a country where I'll have the possibility to teach kids from all over the world. And I'm going to share your message, to share the daily bread, to forgive one another, to help each other, to do everything that is good for this world.'
Yeah.
And we talked together for such a long time on personal things too. And she was so happy to have me. She said, 'We have 365 houses in the world. Not any teacher has done what you did,' she said. 'Everybody wants the contracts first.' And I said, 'Mother Teresa, money is nothing when you compare with the deeds that you make. Because they are in your mind, they are in your body, and they can help all people all around the world. And believe me, whatever I promised Mother Teresa came true. First of all, I won the green card lottery and came to the United States, and I had the opportunity to teach the kids from all over the world. And I had the opportunity to make the bread and share it with everyone. You see, to buy things for the students. Even one day they told me, 'Miss Qirko, do you have a factory of chocolates?' And I said, 'I give you chocolates because I want to show love to you.' And then you have to show love to other people. And we have to spread the word that sharing is the best thing in the world. And people have to understand this is real. More you share, more you receive. In the meaning, when I receive thank you from you, for me is too much because you appreciate what I am doing. And probably you will think that I have to do something like this too. So that's why this message is so important. After we finished talking with Mother Teresa, because the others people have in the book, she gave a huge cross to me for my house that she had blessed. She gave a teddy bear to Laura that said it brings you luck. And then she gave a huge box with a transparent cover that you could see, and I could see inside a huge trunk of a tree. We didn't know what it was. After we left, you see, we went back home. My husband put the box on the table. I had Laura on the right side, and I had Dritan, my son, he was 7 years older than her, on the left side. When we opened the box, can you imagine what it was? It was a huge chocolate, nearly 10 pounds. And I told Laura, I wanted to test her because she was very careful when she was listening. She knew words and phrases from me, you see. And I said, Laura, what can we do with this huge chocolate? Oh, mommy, she said, half of it we have to give to all the neighbors, all the kids in all neighborhoods, they have to try. What about the other half, I said? The other half to all our cousins in Albania. And I said, what about you? For me, just a little piece to try. But why? I said, because Mother Teresa said that sharing is the best in the world.
Yes.
When I got this message from her, I was so happy. And I knew that she was going to begin as a humanitarian woman in the future.
Yes.
Because it's very important what lessons do they get when they are young children.
Yes,
you see, it's very, very important.
Yes.
And I'm so happy today just to speak in this program and to share with you about this wonderful woman. And it's a coincidence that my son was married in 2016 on the 4th of September, the date when Mother Teresa, it was the canonization of Mother Teresa, she became a saint. You see? And I remember before having it, it was like 6 months before, I went to Newport to book it. And they told me that, oh, we don't have any place on the 4th. Everything is occupied. And then I said, okay, wait only 5 minutes. Believe me, Jesus Maria. I prayed. I gave Mother Teresa's prayer. And I said after 5 minutes, please, can you check it again? When she said, how is it possible? There is a place from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I said. And then if you remember that year, a huge hurricane was coming. And they said that this Sunday will be the worst weather. And I was with my husband watching TV and I said, probably not. Probably the hurricane will come on Monday. We have to wait another half hour. They are going to give another news. Again, I gave the prayer. After half an hour, they said, the hurricane is coming on Monday, not on Sunday. So I've tried myself, whatever Mother Teresa told me. If you have faith, if you believe, if you are a good person, if you are a sincere person, everything will come like you want to come. People have to understand it. So I am telling to all the women and to all other people, not only women, young generation, to anyone, you see, to reflect in this world, to love each other, to share with each other, to feed one another. You have a lot of examples in the book that Laura showed, how many people I've helped in eating or whatever, healing, everything. And I am the same person. I mean, we are the same age. We are the same age in the meaning that, again, we feel young because of the deeds that we do. So I want to thank you so much for having me in this program. All the others, Laura will tell.
I'll tell you, I'm very, very honored.
I am very, very, very honored. That, you know, my mother was able to share her story because, as I probably mentioned a little bit earlier, it is different to hear it from her perspective because it was because of my mother that we got this once in a lifetime opportunity. And it was because of my mother that I had the opportunity to be with the Sisters of Mother Teresa for 3 years of my life, even though I was so young. And that is where I picked up all the messages that I preach today in this book, Humanitarian Woman.
Yes.
And I have become a humanitarian woman and trying to be a humanitarian woman every day to follow in Mother Teresa's footsteps. And as my mother said, she was such an exceptional woman because she saw no boundaries. She did not ask what ethnicity you were from, what religion you were from, what skin color you possessed. She loved everyone for human beings, for being people. And I am very much a people's person. I love people with all my heart. I give anything I have for people. I help them in any way I can. By profession, of course, I am a teacher. So the people that I help the most and inspire the most are my students. And it is just such a satisfactory feeling when you have made an impact in their lives. And I have a lot of young students that have read my book, especially young women. And a lot of them, are in college now, or some of them have graduated and have started in the working field. And that's what the message that they have given me too. They said, Ms. Qirko, we love this book because you are giving such a powerful message of love. We are now living in a world, unfortunately, that is filled with judgment, with lack of understanding, with hatred. And this book is the total opposite. In this book, you show everyone how to give love, how to forgive one another, how to make everyone feel at peace, at harmony. And I am so happy when I read messages like that. And when I hear that we need more powerful and positive messages like this, it just really makes my heart filled with happiness.
And particularly, when you think of this time in the United States, we are just being torn apart. Not just, pro-life issues, of course, but also by race and ethnicity. It's to some extent religion. It's terrible. I don't even know how to describe it. It makes me so sad, when I see people whose lives are either stunted because of people not caring enough or even taken away. It literally breaks my heart. So
it does. And I feel that this is the critical point where we have to show love to one another, support one another, irregardless of our political beliefs, irregardless of any beliefs we have. We are all human beings and we need to live in harmony. And especially through such an awful year we've been through. We have been through a world pandemic, and so many lives have been lost. We cannot afford to lose more lives because of other issues. We need to be there and support each other. And unfortunately, nowadays, we also live in a world where people sometimes have a lot of envy and jealousy towards others. And again, the message that I absolutely spread in my book is that we need to be happy for others' success, because when we are happy, when others succeed, we will have even more success in our own life. Just as I believe that if you make other people's dreams come true, your own dreams will come true. Mother Teresa, as my mother shared, Mother Teresa believed that the more that you give, the more you will receive. And both my mother and I, we are witnesses that the more we have done for people, the more we have helped people, the more has returned back to us in one way or another. And again, what returns back to you doesn't have to be in the form of money. It doesn't have to be in the form of something material, but of course it could be in the form of even just something simple, like you get love in return, or something good happens, you get a job, or something of that nature. And people don't understand. Unfortunately, there are some people that don't understand that the more love we pour out to people, the more love we are going to be filled with. And I feel that a lot of people right now are starving for love. They're not starving as much from hunger, but they're starving from love, because they are not feel loved. They do not feel loved. And especially for those people, those are the people that we have to stand up for and actually offer them whatever help we can offer them and whatever love we can show them. And it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference in people's lives. And I want to mention a friend of mine who read my book, and she, of course, sent me this beautiful message. And she said, well, Laura, you know what? You inspired me just looking at my own life, that it's the small gestures that make all the difference. And she said, I want to tell you that a few days ago, I was at a McDonald's, and the woman in front of me, she was short of like $1 or $1.50. And right away, she said to her husband, can you go in the car and get the extra money? And I said, no, here you go. I have it. Take this money. And she said, that feeling made me feel so happy and so strong. Of course, the $1 or $1.50 was not going to save her life, but that gesture, it's something that she's never going to forget.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I said to my friend, I said, exactly. And this is the message that I am trying to give in my book, because I want even young children who can read this or who have their parents read the book to them, to understand that we can help each other in any small way possible. And I think I'm a true believer of that. My mother and I, as you have read in my book, and as a lot of my readers have read, and future readers will read, we have done so much to help people all around the world. And through different ways. And that feeling of getting the appreciation is the most rewarding feeling you can ever feel. And I don't think I have a happier feeling than when I make others happier.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And so I am since we did our podcast a few weeks ago on February 14th, I have been receiving all these wonderful messages from people all around the world. And obviously there are way too many to go through, but I do want to just touch upon a few of them that have really left a big impression on me. There have been several of them that I've received where people have told me that, Laura, the thing that impresses me most about you, your mother, and really your entire family, after reading this story, she said, is the fact that you love to help people through your own pocket, through your own money. You don't do it, for example, through fundraisers or donations or organizations. You do it from your own. And absolutely, that is what brings me happiness. My mother can tell you, she always says this. She says, I would rather take away something, like take money from what I was going to buy to eat, when I know that that money will go to somebody who is in need of the money to purchase food. And as you have probably read in my book yourself, Cynthia, and a lot of my readers have, one of the most beautiful stories is with our dear friend, who she is like a sister to me now, an adoptive sister, and like an adoptive daughter to my mother. It's our dear friend, Robina, in Spain, who is this young Syrian immigrant in Spain, who we are helping all the time. And my mother says, I would rather take away $100, $200, whatever it is a month, and not use that for my groceries, but send it to her so she can buy groceries, she can feed her 2 children. And that has such a strong, powerful impact on her life. And that is why she calls us her guardian angels, because we are looking after her. And she's one example. So one of my readers said this. It was actually, again, another young reader, actually a student of mine that I had in the past. And she made this beautiful, beautiful comparison. And she said, you know, Miss Qirko, after reading your story and after reading the part where, you know, we need to do more for others, we need to think more of our daily actions that we do that could actually impact somebody else's life. She said, I want to admit to you, I'm a coffee drinker. So she said, usually I spend about $10 a day just at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks getting a couple of coffees. And she said, now I've thought about it. She said, I could go with 1 cup less, and whatever that cup of coffee would have cost me, maybe I can put that money aside, and that money could go towards helping somebody. And when I heard that, when I read that, I said, wow, I can't believe that. Now people are starting to think this way. We unfortunately live in a world, especially here in the United States, where we are very lucky because we have everything. We are not missing anything. And I feel that sometimes people, when they have everything, they take advantage of it and they don't really appreciate it. So I feel that when you really stop to think and say, I have everything, but do other people have everything I have? Let's think a little bit. Then I think it will make people to start doing these gestures and thinking, okay, instead of doing something for me, I'll take that away from me for one time and I'm going to offer it to somebody else. And at least that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's like in the United States, I think, of course, my original training was as a sociologist. That's what my doctorate's in. And so I'm always keen on looking at social trends. And it's like when you're talking about people having enough, people have too much. We live in a country where there's this whole new industry called storage units, where if you don't have the room in your house or your cellar or your sheds or your attic, you go and you rent monthly a space to put the stuff. And I often wonder if you can put it in the storage unit, exactly how important is it? But it's a whole new industry, like in the last 10 to 20 years. So it's not that Americans have enough, and I mean, not all, there are a lot of Americans that don't, but, but really it's like they have too much.
Yes.
When you have so much stuff, it takes away from the spiritual life.
Yes, exactly.
No question about it. I mean, everyone has necessity. You need the necessities, but you don't need 5 TVs and all that sort of thing,
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And that's very powerful what you just said. That's exactly what we were thinking as well. And but again, it's small gestures that make the whole difference in anyone's lives. And so I'm personally very, very happy. So when as I'm reading some of these comments, I'm thinking, wow, I'm making such a powerful impact on these people's lives. And honestly, I am very, very humbled because the book has only been out for about 2 months. And I have had tremendous success and such positive feedback coming to me all the time. And, my mother and I, we laugh all the time because almost on a weekly basis, I am receiving flowers from people I do not know. Flowers are coming to my house, chocolates are coming to my house, whether it is from other states in the US or even from Europe. And it's people who I don't know who they are, but they have picked up my book, they've bought my book, they have read my book, and it has really had a powerful impact on them, whatever aspect of the book it is. And so I am so happy when I see that. And, it makes me want to do more and more. And what I have been doing this week is I've been having a lot of virtual events with different women since it is International Women's Day today. And a lot of the women who have been reading my books, and we have been sharing stories, particular stories that they really love in the book, particular sections, particular parts. And again, almost all of them, their favorite aspect is that this book talks about giving love. This book talks about paying it forward. This book talks about an ordinary family like us doing extraordinary things, not of gigantic proportion, but extraordinary in the gesture itself. And so they really, almost all of them have mentioned more or less exactly that. And it just makes me, it makes me so happy and proud to have shared this story with them and to inspire them and, hopefully to get more people involved in what I do and what my mother and I do. And as you have probably read in the book, we are world travelers. We travel everywhere. Of course, now we cannot travel because of the situation we are living in.
Yeah.
But we travel, and our happiest feeling when we travel, usually people feel happy because they say, oh, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to forget all about my job. I'm going to just relax. Our mind goes to, we're going to go on vacation. Who knows who we're going to meet there? We might meet some, poor women that are working in hotels, and we are the opportunity to help them. We might meet some poor strangers in the street. We are going to have the opportunity to help them, to speak to them. And so, of course, yes, we look forward to going, whatever country we're going to visiting the country, looking at all the beautiful sites.
Oh, sure.
But we, of course, our goal is to meet the locals, meet the people, get to know them, share love with them, share our stories. And you know what? We all have stories. And I am so glad that I shared my story with the world, which is Humanitarian Woman. But I encourage all the other women out there, and not just women, anyone who has a story, please tell your story. Do not feel ashamed about whatever your story is. Don't feel intimidated to tell your story. The world we live in is what it is because of all the stories we share with each other. And that's how we learn, and that's how it goes from one generation to the next. And I think it is beautiful because every person has a unique story.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
it is.
I think, yeah. So, when you talk about not having done gigantic things, I think, none of us really knows what the true effect of what we've done is until after we die.
Yes.
And I think you're both going to be really surprised.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more than you realize.
Yes.
Because,
absolutely.
yeah, I really do.
Yes. It is. It's really, but we are just so honored, and we feel blessed that now we have the opportunity to share this with the world and inspire.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take this opportunity, just since it is Mother's Day for me today, because in Albania it is Mother's Day, to actually read to my mother and the audience 2 poems that I wrote when I was 15 years old. And the same message I wrote, which was over 20 years ago, it's still true even to today. And so I would really be honored if I can read these 2 poems from my book.
Please do.
And these 2 poems are located in chapter 18, and the chapter is called Poems of Love. And my first poem is entitled My Hero. Someone who loves whatever she does, a person with a heart filled with love. She's the greatest woman in whatever she does. This lovely lady is my dear mom. She loves to help people in every way. She's trying to help them every day. She loves to wish upon everyone happiness and love. She's got a blessing from up above.
Yeah.
She taught the sisters of Mother Teresa 3 years free of charge, and got blessings from Mother Teresa straight from her heart. When they met, she blessed my entire family along with me. It was an incredibly beautiful thing to see. My mom has encouraged me to do good things, to be outstanding in everything. Now I understand what she is trying to do for me. And so I see this really amazing mother is a hero to me.
It's beautiful.
So you know what, now reading that back after more than 20 years, it has such a more powerful message for me, and the emotions that I have, because really my mother, not because she is my mother, but absolutely to me, she is an absolute hero. Absolutely. And the second one that I would love to read to my mother is entitled Remember My Words. Oh, daughter, my dear daughter, you must listen to what I say. My sayings will lead you to a good way. I know what's right for you, always, all the time. I've seen your happy moments and tears when you cry. I know what's wrong and right for you to do, because I have been your age too. You should never trust anyone but me. When you become my age, darling, you will see. There are people we love and enemies out there. Watch out for the bad ones, but don't you fear. You'll learn to love and trust as the years go by. You'll learn the meaning of a mother's love. The person who is proud of everything you do is the person who is teaching everything to you. You know that your mother thinks of you every day. When you need help, she's the person who will pray. The values I have taught you, you'll always keep with you. That's how I know you are remembering me too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
thank you so much. And I thank you, Cynthia, for giving me the opportunity to share those with my mother,
Oh,
especially
sure.
today for Mother's Day, because obviously a mother is probably, in a daughter's perspective, the most important figure in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my mother is the most important person in my life. And this relationship that I have with my mother is so strong because my mother shared the same relationship with her mother.
Yes.
So it runs in
yeah.
the genes. It
Mhm.
is a part of our family. And so when I look at my mother now, after being blessed by Mother Teresa, to me, she radiates Mother Teresa. And with every action that she does, whether it is for me, for my family, for others that we know, for strangers. And so I really admire my mother, not just as my mother, but as this inspirational and role model figure.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you
yes.
so much.
Yes.
Well, I have to say it's
Yes.
a real honor to have met you, Marietta, and to have heard
Oh,
your
thank
story.
you so much. I appreciate. It's an honor for me to meet you, and you direct the program so beautifully. Such a nice program. I listened to the other one that you had in the radio show. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And this is even more beautiful because we see each other too.
Yes, yes.
It's
yes.
the best. It's the best.
Yes, I am thankful also for the technology nowadays that we can be far apart, but
yeah.
at least we are still able to see each other
That's right.
and feel like we are with each other.
Yes,
And that is a beautiful feeling. And
It is.
especially now, even, you know, speaking with people in other countries and other continents, it's just, it's really, really special, especially
Yes.
at this time.
I agree. I agree. You know,
Absolutely.
it really shows that, you know, so often we hear the bad things about media and we hear social communication, but this is proof that it's the technology is good. It's some people just abuse it, but the technology itself is very good.
Yes.
I mean, 10 years ago, we couldn't have done this.
No, absolutely. But I hope that in the future, when things will become better, then I hope that we can actually physically meet in person.
That would be wonderful.
And it would be wonderful for my mother to meet you, to touch you, because this woman, as people will read in the story, she has done some miracles just because of being with people, touching people. She mentions that she makes her bread and she blesses her bread. And when she gives people the bread, she gives it, of course, for them to enjoy because it's delicious. But she gives it as a way to bring them luck and to bring them goodness and to bring them good fortune, to make pretty much whatever desire they want a reality. And her bread has done some amazing, amazing miracles.
I believe it.
Yes.
And also my mother does the same, and so do I, that we love to give gifts to people. And sometimes people look at you and they're like, oh, why are they giving us gifts? And it's not because we're giving you a gift because you don't have that, but because that gift is particularly coming from my mother, who was blessed by Mother Teresa, that gift will bring you a blessing. And we love to do that. We absolutely love to do that.
That's great.
Yes.
So yeah, very, very, you know, really insightful and deep story. You know, when you think of, I mean, to meet Mother Teresa, to work like you did, I mean, the influence that that's had on your lives and on the lives of others who learn about it is really good.
Exactly.
Very good.
It absolutely is. It's something that it never leaves your mind. It's something that, you know, sometimes I go to bed every night and it's something that will pop up in my head on a nightly basis, because of course, when I go to bed, I pray to Mother Teresa, and Mother Teresa hears my prayers. And, you know, like my mother said, if you have faith and if you believe, but you fully believe and you have a pure heart with doing so, then everything comes the way that you want it to come.
Yeah.
And that's also an important message, you know, to give to people, that with faith, everything is possible.
Yes.
And we can even make the impossible into possible. And speaking about that, there was also some other comments that I received. And again, I keep saying my younger readers, because most of my readers are these young women, you know, whether they're in their 20s or so forth. And, but also, a lot of them are my young readers, my students. And some of my students, they have not necessarily read the book, but they have actually watched a short video on the book. They listened to the interview we did. And they also said that, Ms. Qirko, you inspire us, because sometimes we think that our dreams are impossible, but you are a perfect example how we should strive to make our dreams into reality.
Yes.
And when I hear things like that, it touches me, because working in an urban school like Brockton High School, where my mother also worked, you have students that are coming from all different backgrounds, and also students that, you know, their interest in studying varies. And you have these students who might not be as interested in pursuing a career because they think that, oh, that's impossible. I can never do that. And when they hear a story like this, especially from their teacher, who they look at as a role model, they say, wow, so I can do this. If I want to become a singer, I can become a singer as long as I work hard, I dedicate all my time and my patience, and I can make it. And so it's really satisfying, again, to me, when I hear comments like that. And it's just, it's a beautiful feeling. It really is. I mean, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, I understand. I was born in the underclass, which is in this country, the class below lower class. And I did make it through high school, but in the process of high school, I did, you know, even when I first went to school, I couldn't even read. I couldn't learn the alphabet, and couldn't learn how to study. And here we are, you know, I'm 70 now, and it's like that. And I actually ended up becoming a doctor and teaching men who are going to be priests. I mean, that's incredible, because
it's absolutely,
yeah.
God bless you for that. That is absolutely incredible.
It is amazing. And I mean, I teach sisters, I teach all kinds of lay people all over the world, because we have the distance learning program, Africa, countries in Africa, a lot of Vietnamese. People need hope. And that's one of the things that love gives them.
Yes.
You know, so where I came from, there was no hope. And yet you look, and it's like certain people along the way give you help, and, you know, you end up being entirely different than what anyone ever would have suspected you could become.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are lucky, because now we are speaking with an inspirational woman. Because being international,
I don't think of myself that way.
No,
I really don't think of myself that way. But yeah, I'm very grateful, because when I look back, there was no way that I ever should have even gone to college. It was debatable. I would have graduated from high school.
Unbelievable. What a beautiful, beautiful story.
Oh, thank you.
And it is inspiring. And you know what, especially for younger generations, if they hear stories like that, it will inspire them to do their best to their fullest potential. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that is absolutely so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, I actually just got through writing my memoir, and Sebastian Mahfoud is going to publish it. So,
oh, I cannot wait for that to come out. I cannot wait.
Okay. Well, you know, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But well. I hope. Well, you know, my goal in writing is to help if I help even one person, you know, I'll just give you briefly, because this is an interview about your book, not mine. But my mother had tried to abort me in 1949 and did not, chemically, and did not succeed. And the reason I wanted to tell the story was so that people, I mean, in this country, life doesn't mean a whole lot. And if I can just get one person to not do that, or to think twice and back away from it, you know, because you never know, when a child is aborted, it's not just the child, all the life that would have followed that child, you know, their children, their grandchildren, you know, for generations, thousands of people potentially. And, you know, I'm hoping that somebody will read that book and say, gee, you know, I'm not going to do that. Just even one person, I'll be happy. Of course, I won't know till I'm dead.
Oh, no, but you know what? You said it beautifully, because if that one person is affected, then that one person will affect another person and another person, and that's how it will be. It's exactly, it's like when you make an impact, all it takes is just to impact one person. Because then that one person will impact somebody else's life, and that's how it will be. And Mother Teresa actually believed in that as well. And Mother Teresa was a strong believer exactly in that thought, that even if you make a difference just to one person, it's going to make a huge difference all around the world.
And
all it takes is one.
I agree. And you know, if I'm really lucky, maybe more than one. But that was really why I wrote it, because I think so many people, you know, they think of abortion and they just think of the end result of, you know, there's not a child. But I don't think they realize what that impact does, even if you look at it demographically. I mean, you know, so it's an important issue, very important issue. And
what
so
an
that's why I
important,
really,
powerful message.
I'm sorry.
What an important and powerful message. No, what an important and powerful message.
Yes. We'll see.
And especially for the time we are living in now, with, you know, young women, and, you know, it is so wonderful that young women have so much power, and, you know, they can make their own choices. That is wonderful. But absolutely, I think young women who are struggling in a situation that they're facing a situation similar to yours, then they might have to think twice and say, really, I have to analyze this very, very well prior to making my final decision. And that could ultimately make a huge difference.
I hope.
That's so wonderful. We look forward to reading. So please get it out soon.
All right.
We absolutely, I hope that in the future, we can have one of these meetings again, one of these interviews. And hopefully after reading your book, I will actually change roles with you, so I can ask you some information from your book. I am really, really happy. And, you know, I thank you so much. And it couldn't have been a more beautiful and perfect occasion to speak together tonight for Women's Day, and empowering women and powerful women, and giving these powerful messages to women. And that is absolutely wonderful, wonderful.
I agree. Well, I thank you both very much for granting me the interview. I really enjoyed meeting you. And, you know, it's like you've got such a wonderful, what a wonderful story you have. And, you know, to have actually met Mother Teresa and the influence that had on your life, it's wonderful. You know,
thank you, and you are very welcome for everything. Thank you so much.
And we look forward to having another opportunity to speak again in the future. As we go through all these adventures in our humanitarian journey. And because, again, the humanitarian woman is really Mother Teresa. But then my mother was the one who became the humanitarian woman because of her influence. And then she instilled that upon me. So wonderful. It is really our humanitarian journey. And we look forward to speaking with you in future occasions.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, would you like to close with prayer?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dear God, we thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak with Cynthia tonight for Women's Day. And I thank you so much for sharing this opportunity with my wonderful mother, Laura Qirko, who made the impossible dream of meeting Mother Teresa a reality. Being blessed by Mother Teresa, we hope that after sharing our story, we will touch and inspire women all around the globe so that they can follow the message of spreading love, peace, and harmony all worldwide. Amen.
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 Yes.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you very much. And I hope to interview you both again, or have you interview me.
Oh,
Okay,
look
you're
forward
welcome.
to it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And again, have a wonderful evening. And one more time, happy International Women's
Yes,
to all the
I
women out
agree.
there.
Yes.
I agree.
Wonderful
Okay.
evening.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Cynthia.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Let's see.